Shalom! Welcome to this video. In this video, I want to show you why it is so super important that you get the infinitive right before you start with the conjugation of the verb. In this video, we will look at the process of conjugation, and this is especially for students who have a European language that includes English, my dear US friends, as their mother tongue. Because for speakers of European languages, the infinitive is key. And unfortunately, in Hebrew lessons, that's the last thing you hear about. So, you might have seen in my micro lessons, that means in my social media posts, that I talk a lot about the infinitive. Now, why is that? So the infinitive is actually the point where you start for your conjugation into the present tense. Also, many times it is from the infinitive that you can go into the other tenses. But when it comes to the irregular verbs, the infinitive is key. If you do not get the infinitive right, you can forget about all the rest of the conjugations. So, speakers of European languages always start with the infinitive, and then they wonder how they get that infinitive into the present tense, past tense, future tense, and the imperative. Now, the infinitive in Hebrew is extremely important when it comes to the correct conjugation of the present tense, the imperative, and the future tense. So, what happens to the past tense? Well, for regular verbs, the past tense relies on the name of the binyan. It follows the name of the binyan. For irregular verbs, yes, it is also important to get the infinitive right, but basically, the idea is that the infinitive is very connected to present tense, future tense, and the imperative, and the past tense. If you want to get it right, you must look at the name of the binyan. This video is not about that technique. I want to show you now, if you get it right from the root to the correct infinitive, how this will help you through all the conjugations in all tenses. Okay, let's start. This is the root, and now I want you to make a hit pa el infinitive. Normally, you would say le hit and the root. That would be the standard. But here you can forget about it because our root starts with tzadik. And hit pa el infinitives based on a root that starts with tzadik have their own rules. Here we go again. So, that means that in this case, the infinitive looks like this. We have to split it, and the tav from the lehit turns into a tet. Okay, quick reminder, I have on my website this little guide that says Stop Your Pain Now, How to Master Hebrew Verbs. If you have not downloaded it yet, go to my website, download it, and there I explain in only a couple of pages how you can actually start studying Hebrew verbs and finally get a little bit out of the chaos. Of course, you know, I hope you know, I also have this online course. I have also books, so I have a lot of material to help you study Hebrew verbs. All of that you find on the website. Coming back to our infinitive, if you have arrived to a correct infinitive of an irregular verb, then you have already done the heavy lifting. Because with this infinitive, we are now going here to the process of conjugation. And for example, let's start with present tense. If the infinitive is lehitzta then it is hu mitzta So you see, you keep the same pattern. You keep the prefix lehit, it was split, you keep that. The tav was exchanged for a tet, you keep that. And this is where you cannot make a mistake any longer. So if you get the infinitive right, your present tense should be right. What happens to the future tense when the infinitive is lehitzta Hu yitzta er. The exact same story. You keep the pattern of hitpael, basically, with the modifications that you have applied to the infinitive. And the same is for the imperative, hitzta er. So you see, once you have the infinitive right, you are basically good to go for 3 tenses. Now, past tense, what happens to the past tense? Well, I said that for the regular verbs, the past tense and the infinitive are not connected because the past tense looks onto the name of the binyan. This video is not about that, but in this case here with our example, of course, what you modified in the infinitive, you also modify in the past tense. So normally a hitpael past tense would be something like hit a e. Yeah, but our hit got modified, so you keep that modification, and from le hitsta er, you come to hitsta er. Okay, so this was this video on infinitives. I hope it gave you a little bit more of understanding why you might want to have a special look at the infinitive before you start conjugating. I hope it was helpful, and I hope I see you in the next video. Neshikot. Shalom.